if people have to pay, maybe I won't see my friends. Maybe they won't enjoy the beach the same way. Cause when I go to surf in Hampton, cause sometimes I like going there, when I pay the meter, like whenever I'm surfing, I can't really enjoy it. Cause in the back of my mind's like, I don't want to take it. I have to go pay the meter. So like, I don't know. I just feel that it wouldn't be detrimental.
Welcome to Seacoast Stories, a weekly podcast where we interview the people and businesses of New Hampshire and Maine. I'm Troy Farkas. I've produced some of the most popular podcasts in the world. And since moving to the Seacoast in 2023, I've fallen in love with the area and its inspiring people. And now I am on a mission to bring the Seacoast closer together, one podcast at a time. Imagine this. It's mid-January, and rather than freeze my butt off in the cold, I'm sitting on a beach in Mexico, sipping on a margarita after a morning filled with yoga and deep conversations with my favorite teachers. I pick up my book, a book of poems written by Seacoast residents Amber Lillystrom, and I vow not to look at my phone for a couple hours. And just as I'm about to put my phone in silent mode, I get one DM, then another, and another. All of them saying the same thing. You have to talk to these kids. These kids being Aidan and Lorax Reed, the youthful faces of a movement launched to stop the town of Rye from charging for parking along 1A. In these DMs, which just keep coming, I'm sent this video.
Currently, the town of Rye in the state of New Hampshire is trying to monetize 43% of our state's coastline by implementing paid parking all along Route 1A.
Parents and grandparents, do you remember what it was like to grow up on the beach? Please do not change this forever.
Monetizing a state beach access road will affect everyone forever.
The town of Rye currently profits nearly $180,000 from beach parking alone. Rye residents, we need to ask ourselves, how much is too much? How much more can we take from our friends and families?
That video, posted to the @FreeRyeParking account on January 10th, now has 279,000 views on Instagram, 16,000 likes, and 23,000 shares. On TikTok, that same video has 64,000 views, 10,000 likes, and 800 shares. In other words, this video went Seacoast viral, sending the 603 into a frenzy over the town of Rye's wishes to charge for parking along the beach, a move the town has justified by pointing to the likes of Newcastle and Hampton Beach, where paid parking meters are the norm. In addition to the video, Lorax, a senior at Phillips Exeter Academy and a Seacoast lifer, and Aidan, a senior at Portsmouth High School and a Massachusetts transplant, they started a petition for Seacoast residents to sign, a petition that now has just over 10,000 signatures on change.org. On today's bonus episode, Lorax and Aidan sit down for their first full-length interview since this movement began. In this conversation, we'll discuss why the town of Rye wants to implement these changes, how a measure like this could impact the lives of Lorax, Aidan, and their friends, why they believe access to nature should be free, and the current state of their fight against the town. Plus, why they believe they're the ones best suited to lead a movement like this, and whether they think they will ultimately be successful. Today's episode is presented by Portsmouth's very own David Higgins, a man who very much enjoys his time on the beach. More on him later, but for now, here is Lorax to take it away.
So I've been in Rye my whole life. Aidan came in sixth grade.
Sixth grade.
And that was kind of right at the beginning of COVID. So we got kind of about a year to know each other. And then
God, that's just so wild that you saying you were in sixth grade was the beginning of COVID.
Yeah. So we were kind of plunged right into COVID. But luckily we had already formed a tight bond. I mean, Rye it was like 40 kids in our grade. So you're kind of close with everybody.
Yeah.
And kind of all the boys were friends and all the girls were friends. And so we were kind of pushed close together by that. And then during COVID, we would spend a lot of time outside at the beach as well. Kind of riding our bikes. Bikes was a big one.
Yeah.
So you'd bike around a lot. Yeah. Aidan, anything else to add there?
No, I met Lorax sixth grade, and I don't know. I liked everyone in Rye. Like he said, there's only 40 kids and we all had a tight bond.
How hard was being sent home during COVID?
It was hard. I mean, but I don't know. School was easy and we all connected through video games like Fortnite. That was a prevalent game at the time. And we'd all play together, and that was kind of our way of bonding. And as it like kind of fizzled out, the COVID thing, we all got outside and biked. So.
Yeah, I'll say like, I know a lot of people had very bad COVID experiences, and my heart goes out to them. But for me, COVID is actually one of the highlights of my life, as weird as that may sound, because I was kind of doing online learning for half of the day. Homework was really easy. You were doing it while you were in class, and then you get at class at like 1 or way earlier than you normally would. And you'd call up your friends and say, hey, let's go for a bike ride. And then the whole town of Rye was our playground. And we were just going around hiking in the trails or going to the beach, like bringing our surfboards on our racks besides our bike. And it was just super fun to kind of almost like detox from school and screens as well. And just kind of be kind of kicked outside by our parents, because they were all working from home too. They needed the space to be on video calls and whatnot. So I was kind of forced outside, and I couldn't drive at the time. So kind of bikes was our main form of movement, and we were biking around a lot, and it's kind of one of the fondest memories in my life. Yeah.
I love to hear that. All right. So you guys grew up going to these Rye beaches. This was the thing to do for kids in Rye. I'm not from here, so this is fun to hear your perspective. So as we get out of the COVID years and you guys enter high school, what are you guys doing? Is it still a lot of you're going to the beach to hang out with friends and you're surfing? Still the same amount of activity on the beach for you guys?
I would say so, yeah. I feel like once we started to drive, it was much easier. We'll pick up each other and meet up at the beach. But I feel like we have the same bonds going into high school.
Yeah, we both work at Summer Session Surf Shop. So that was a big, I mean, when we weren't like playing on the beach, we were working at the beach. So we were right across from Genesee State Beach. We started off as like groms. So that meant just like doing the dirty work, washing the wetsuits and kind of lugging around, unboxing stuff, throwing away the trash, stuff you don't want to be doing. But kind of the level up from that is being a coach, which is the best part about the summer, teaching little kids to surf and getting paid for it as well. So in the summer, I mean, we're at the beach like 5-6 times a week working. And we're going back and forth across the road, teaching kids how to surf. And then we work at the surf camp as well, which they host down at that Sawyer's Beach, what we were talking about, which is super fun. And it kind of gives opportunity for kids who aren't from here, who won't have that opportunity to kind of play at the beach where we had when we were younger. It gives an opportunity to do that and then learn how to surf as well.
Is it fair to say that Genesee Beach is the best beach on the New Hampshire Seacoast? Is that a hot take? Because that's my take.
No, I think there's certainly some bias there coming from me. But yeah, I'd say Genesee Beach and that whole strip kind of, I'm including like Sawyer's, Genesee and Cable here. I think that's the best beach. I mean, Hampton's amazing. I go surfing there a lot, but for me, it's just the way the boardwalk's structured and how it's become more populated throughout time. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's cool to meet new people, but I think having that influx of people and that, I mean, there's like arcades right next to the beach and stuff. It just feels a little bit less relaxing, if you will, than Genesee Beach. And it feels a little less like home. And I think obviously there's some bias here. I grew up on Genesee Beach, but I think just the single surf shop, the one cafe, the kind of limited amount of people that go there just really makes it truly special.
So at Genesee Beach, there is a parking lot. I believe I saw 67 parking spots at Genesee Beach, and there is a paid parking meter. But otherwise, you can park all up and down 1A for free. However, as noted in the Seacoast Online articles and your petition, that is being threatened. Can you take us back to when this was first proposed, this paid parking along Route 1A?
So this isn't the first time they've attempted to do this. I'm not super well versed on the history, but in talking with some people who are, they brought up in the past that it has happened. It's usually gone through the beach committee first. So the way the Rye kind of government is structured, there's 3 selectmen. Those kind of have supreme control over what's passed. But then there's committees that kind of work for them and under them who are also elected or volunteers. So I think the head is like elected, and then each person on it is volunteering. So there's like beach committee, there's park committee, there's conservation committee. There's a lot of different committees, but usually the beach committee was the one that would look into it, figure out whether every couple of years somebody proposes it, right? Like there's a beach here. Like, why are we not making money off this? It's a natural thought process, and I think that's happened before. But each time, for a variety of reasons, it was kind of shut down. This is the first time it's truly gone to the select board and been pushed as far as it has. So I actually first heard from my mom, who used to be on the conservation committee. So another committee from the town who's kind of still well-versed in town politics. And she heard about it, and she let me know, just as a surfer and stuff, about what would be going down. And immediately I felt that was a little bit unfair. And then another local surfer and a mentor to me kind of reached out and said the same thing. And that's when I realized like multiple people were a little bit upset about this, and what better way to fight it than youth and kind of a youth movement as well. Aidan, how did you hear about it?
Obviously, Lorax, he had sent out a text to all the boys trying to educate us, and I felt very passionate about it. And I'm like, how can I join in? And we came up with the idea about the Instagram, the petition, and it grew a lot.
And why'd you feel so passionate about it?
Because I feel that the ocean, when I moved here from Massachusetts, I felt the ocean really changed who I was. Because when I was in Mass, I didn't really like the ocean. I didn't like the beach. I didn't like the sand. And then I started surfing and kind of enjoying Mother Nature. And it really just changed who I was. And I would hate to have someone not come to the beach and because they have to pay now and not have the experience that I had, and maybe find a new passion of surfing or new love for the ocean and meeting new people at the beach.
How did it really change who you were?
I was just very I didn't like going outside. I was like game. I just played soccer and I gamed. I would just sit inside and play video games. And I feel like as soon as I got to Rye and the ocean, I kind of stopped doing that and kind of went outside and biked with Lorax, surfed and opened up, my eyes to the nature.
Yeah, on that similar vein too, on how surfing has changed me. Exeter is a very stressful environment, and as having a lot of homework and tests every week.
You go to Phillips Exeter.
I go to Phillips Exeter, correct? Yeah. That the ability to surf, surfing and skiing and a lot of outdoor sports I do, but surfing in particular, the moment I kind of strap it or slide into my wetsuit and I'm out there on the water, I'm not really thinking about anything except the present at the moment. It's kind of hard to. You're fighting for your life under waves, especially in the winter when it's freezing cold and you have brain freezes every other second. You kind of really have to focus on the present, and when you're on a wave, every piece of your mind clears. So all the stress I have, whether it be from a test I didn't do so well on, or a test coming up, or homework, or social life, everything just kind of disappears from my mind, and I'm focused on the present. And to me, that ability to be calm and be kind of grounded, kind of ironic because I'm in the water, but to be grounded out there while surfing is one of I think that's the most special thing to me about being outside and being at the ocean in general. And I think along with Aidan's thinking, I'd hate to have that kind of taken away from future generations as well.
So is it fair to say, Lorax, that when you caught winds that this paid parking proposal was being considered, that you felt it was really a threat to these activities that you love so much?
Correct. Yeah. Especially for people who aren't living in Rye or are from kind of further in-state or out of state as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you catch wind of this. Now, you guys are kids in high school. You have so many obligations, sports, homework, tests, social life, so many things, and so many other people on the Seacoast who could be fighting these battles. Why did you want to take it upon yourselves to really fight this fight?
I think the biggest thing is because it would affect us the most, right? Like we're kids. While we work in the summer, we don't have a full-time job over the school year. I'm not able to work because schooling takes up a lot of my life. Aidan has very committed with soccer and whatnot, and also kind of has similar constraints on when he can work during the school year. So A, we don't have a lot of money. That's the biggest thing. And also B, we're going to be here the longest. I mean, as weird as it may sound, the people who are 40, 50 right now are going to be affected by this parking thing for the next couple decades to come, but we're going to be around here the longest, and our kids are going to be here as well, assuming we stay here. Or around here. And I think that's the biggest thing. If you were to ask like a 7-year-old to fight this, I think it'd be a little difficult for them to get organized and be able to drive to town meetings and whatnot. But if you ask maybe a 30-year-old, might be a little less interested, right? This doesn't affect them as much. They have a full-time job. What's $15 a day to them? Sure, it hurts their pocket a little bit, but if they're somewhat well off, this doesn't really affect them as much. And so I think coming from us, we're the people that are most affected. We're the people that are going to kind of look at that $15 a day or however much it ends up being and be like, do I really want to spend this to go to the beach, or do I want to stay inside and scroll reels on my phone or play Fortnite? Like we're going to be the first people affected. We're going to be the people most affected. And I think that's why we want to fight this and why it's coming from us.
And going off Lorax's point, our generation obviously is most in depth with electronics, and obviously the older generations may not know how to make a viral video. And I feel like our generation maybe knows how to have those tools, have the right hashtags or the right format. So with us having that knowledge, we're able to maybe get this out to more people using Instagram or TikTok, using algorithms.
Mm-hmm. So when you guys decided that you wanted to do something, you decided, all right, we've got to go this social media route.
Yeah, I think that came actually a little later. At first, we were going to town meetings was the first thing we
Really?
did.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went to 2 town meetings. The first one we went both the times. So Rye has like a public comment. Usually it's at the beginning of town meetings. For some outside reasons, the town moved it to the end of the town meeting. So public comment to the end of the town meeting. Rye residents, if you live in Rye, are able to speak whatever topic they choose. And so we went to the first town meeting. We voiced our concerns. We said, we think, like XYZ. We think people are going to spend more time inside on their phones. We think kids are going to be pushed away. And we think people who don't have a lot of money or underserved won't be able to visit the beach as much. And the feedback was good. I think they were receptive to feedback. They were glad that youth were getting involved in politics. They were a little bit derogatory. They did say when we first sat down, like, "Are you guys here for a school project?" Which was kind of interesting. Kind of how they assumed we were there because we were being forced to, not because we wanted to be there.
There's usually not kids there, I assume.
Yeah, there's never kids there. I'd say the median age is probably like, I don't know, 60. So yeah,
That checks out.
It's not a lot of young kids there. So when I think it was like 4 or 5 of us showed up, they were definitely a little taken aback. And then we voiced our concerns, and we went to a second meeting. And that's where this parking study got approved before we were given the chance to speak, which we'll touch on in a little bit as well. But we showed up with a lot more people that time. I think it was like
20 almost.
Yeah, almost close
Really?
to 20. So we pulled a lot of surfers. Not everybody from Rye, so not everybody could speak, but they could still attend the meeting. So we filed in kind of towards the end of the meeting, and I think they were a little bit more threatened by that, and their response to our comments weren't quite as kind. I mean, the videos are all online. We posted some of them on our Instagram as well, but the whole live stream is available on the Town of Rye website. And I think for whatever reason, the response was a little bit more negative, and I think that only added fuel to the fire for us. We were more convinced that we were doing the right thing, and that we were kind of helping people who weren't able to speak up or didn't have the time to speak up. And then that's kind of after that meeting, we realized we could use these clips and generate a lot of social media attention, and that's where we went the social media route after that.
And Aidan, what was said in these clips?
Basically, it was Selectman McGrath, right? He said,
with respect to revenue, I don't know how much is too much. And I don't know that there's a morality attached to revenue.
So basically saying that money, there's no morality attached to it. So you can just keep making money. It does not matter. It doesn't matter who it affects.
Yeah. And we pointed out that, that residents outside of Rye were going to be affected by this. And he said he doesn't feel like he owes his constituents that aren't in Rye anything. That's kind of a direct quote from him. And then he also said, this is from Selectman Wright and McGrath, that there wasn't a limit to how much money they saw they could make in the future. They said there was no ceiling, which we took very directly to mean that the prices are only going to go up from here. What starts as $10, $15 a day can quickly climb. And I mean, there's no regulation on how much they can charge. It's only how much people are willing to pay. And people are willing to pay a lot to go to the beach, especially those who are more well off. And so that was kind of irked us the wrong way as well. And then they made public comments as well on Seacoast Online. I think when they were first getting interviewed about this, they said that they didn't think anybody would be bothered by the issue of charging for parking. And I mean, we have 10,000 signatures on our petition.
And their justification was, well, every other beach on the New Hampshire Seacoast does it. Why can't we? Yeah.
And while that's true, like Hampton pays for parking, that's actually a special case there. The state, are you familiar with Hampton? Like their seawall right there, their super nice concrete seawall. So the state paid for that seawall. And the state said, we're going to give you these funds, but then you have to charge for parking and give us, I think they give 100% of the revenue generated from the metered parking directly to the state. So none of that money actually goes to the town of Hampton. That was a special deal cut out with the state, where the state was paying for the seawall to be built there and protect the citizens of Hampton. But then the money generated from that metered parking is going straight to the state. So that's a special case there. And then sure, there's other instances where towns are generating money off of beach parking. But I mean, I grew up, and I think a lot of kids grew up as well with the saying from our parents, like, just because everybody else is doing it, like, doesn't mean you should do it. Somebody's jumping off a cliff doesn't mean you should do it. And I think that applies to paid parking as well. Just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean it's moral. And I think when we delved into the town financials as well, and we realized maybe we don't exactly need this money, that's where we were like, okay, like why exactly are we doing this? Like, what's the motive behind this?
I think the early estimate I saw that the town of Rye said that it would generate about $1 million annually. Yeah. These paid parking.
Yeah. So I mean, while it would generate, I mean, we're not here to deny they're gonna make money off this. It's a lucrative deal. But when we kind of their justification on the Seacoast Online article, and they've said this at town meetings as well, is that we spend $85,000 on the beach, which is correct. We spend a good amount of money. There's bulldozers there a couple times a week. I think leveling out the sand. There's extra police force needed in the summer. I think there's temporary police officers hired, and that comes out to call it $100,000 over the summer. But when we looked at how much money we generate from parking tickets and then resident stickers as well. So the residents who want that private parking along Sawyer's or Cable or any other beach that's not kind of Genesee and then Route 1A, they have to pay I think it's like $25 per car. So we think that's a pretty fair, reasonable price for that private parking. So the money they generate from that, so the beach parking stickers, and then all the tickets they issue all along the Route 1A for people who are parked. I mean, there's certain restrictions that you can't park wherever you want. You can't park in front of people's driveways or on over the white lines and whatnot. So the money they generate from that, we kind of learned from a right to know request from the town that they make upwards of $200,000 per summer off of that. So if you look at, we spend $100,000, but we're making $200,000 off the beach per summer. So we're already netting $100,000. Right. And then there's this whole question of where that money goes, and we had to follow the line as well. But ultimately it comes down to if we're making money off the beach already, which is great, like how much more do we need to make off of our friends, our families, and then people we don't even know, strangers as well? Do we really need that extra $1 million? Where is that going to go, and how's that going to benefit us?
Mm-hmm. Coming up, why the boys take their movement to social media and the tactics they use to get 10,000 signatures on their petition. That's next, but first, quick Seacoast quiz. Do you love natural light? Well, yeah, obviously. Do you love your neighbors? Yeah, of course, Seacoast people are amazing. Do you need them seeing you record a podcast advertisement, practice yoga in your living room, or prepare oatmeal for the 9th time in the same week? My guess is no. And that's the great dilemma of living on the Seacoast. We want those big, beautiful windows. We want that coastal glow, but we don't need our homes feeling like a sidewalk cafe in Market Square where everyone's got a front row seat. That's why Budget Blinds of the Seacoast is clutch. They're local, they come to you, and they make the whole process very simple. So you're not pacing the aisles at Lowe's with a tape measure, wondering how a 5-minute project turned into a personality crisis. Definitely not speaking from personal experience. Whether you're in a Portsmouth condo, a classic Dover colonial, or a Maine coastal home, Budget Blinds helps you control the light in your home, protect your privacy, upgrade the vibes, and save you from the embarrassment of knowing that your neighbors can see right into your kitchen dance party. Custom blinds, shades, shutters, they're professionally installed, reasonably priced, and done right the first time. Budget Blinds of the Seacoast, because around here we love community, just not that much. So you guys are going to the meetings, and more of you are going to the meetings. You're not being met with the kindest of comments. And then, Aidan, you decide to take matters into your own hands?
Correct.
And start putting stuff out on social media?
Yeah, we, like Lorax said, their response kind of outraged us, and we really wanted to get it out quickly because we did not know like what was going to happen or how fast things were going to fall through. So we kind of just went for it. And obviously people care. We have over 10,000 signatures from our petition, and I feel that we just need to keep this growing. And obviously they're going to try again next year, and we just need to keep staying strong and pushing and educating more people.
Yeah, the video on Instagram is approaching 300,000 views, and it's got something like 30,000 shares on it, which is obscene. Did you expect that kind of reaction?
No, I mean, yes, we knew people were going to care, but I mean, when I go on Instagram Reels, when I look at like a Instagram reel that has like more shares and likes, because we have around like 12,000 likes, like 20,000 shares, usually it's something like weird or funny or people making fun of, but it's actually, in our case, it's people sharing it with others and trying to get our petition out. And I feel that that's really great that people care, and it felt really good to look at that and watch it grow. And it's awesome.
Yeah, I think,
how did that feel?
Yeah, I think we were real surprised. I mean, there were a couple other people involved in the process of making the video as well. And we were all like, wow, this is like getting traction pretty quick. I think it started off kind of a little bit slow, but then, I mean, it's exponential, right? The more people that share it, the more people share it with other people. And then it quickly gained popularity from there. So I think by the end of the week, it hit that like 10,000 likes mark and then that 20,000 shares. And I mean, I've never been in a video that viral. I think that in of itself was amazing.
Must have been blowing up.
I mean, one of my friends like jokingly like sent me the reel because he just got it on his like For You page. It was like, hey, don't you live in Rye? Like, have you heard about this thing? Because I mean, obviously he knew it was me in the video, but just the fact that it was showing up in random people's feeds, or people that we knew who weren't like directly searching for our video was really cool. And then, like Aidan said, I mean, we were really hoping it was going to get shared this much. I mean, people have a reason to care about this. But I think that was the first time we realized like just how many people really support us in our mission. I think my favorite thing was going through the comments. I think there's close to like 600 comments now on the Instagram video alone. And a vast majority of them are in support. I mean, there's some who voice their concerns and they're good objections as well. And they're objections similar to what the town has said. But a vast majority were either supporting us directly. They're proud that youth were standing up for what they believe in, or kind of supporting our movement. They believe that they're sharing anecdotes about how much time they spent at the beach as youth and as adults now, and how paid parking would affect their use. We're talking everybody like dog walkers, paddleboarders, surfers, fishermen, like everybody that uses the beach is going to be affected one way or another by this. And I think just the overwhelming support and the amount of people who were personally engaged with our mission was super cool to see and super rewarding as well.
Absolutely. So you decide as part of this video, you launch a petition on change.org. As we're talking today, it has just over 10,000 signatures, I believe. What is the purpose of this petition, Aidan?
So this petition is to kind of get verified signatures to show that people really care. Because if we can't just tell the selectmen people care, they're going to be like, okay. And then we can obviously say, here's a proof. And it's powerful. And we can show that to the state and say, look at these 10,000 family Seacoast residents and kids that agree. I mean, I feel like that's more that's powerful to have like actual number of verified signatures where they have to type in their name, last name, their email, and get an email like as well to verify it's actually them and they did that. And it's powerful.
Yeah, I think it also adds a supporter base as well. I mean, change.org is an amazing platform and allows us to email directly all of the 10,000 people that signed with updates and also kind of things that they can do to help our mission. Recently, I know we were talking before this about where the parking issue stands currently. There was going to be a vote at the town. Gosh, I'm blanking on the name now, but the town, like the town meeting where you vote on the warrant article meeting. So where you vote on warrant articles to be put on the bill. So this was going to be kind of our final chance. It was just a couple of weeks ago. I think it was January 28th or something. So it was going to be the final chance before it went to a final vote for the Rye residents, where we could change the wording of the bill and basically say, instead of like, we propose to add paid parking next year, it's like, we propose to further study paid parking for 5 more years. And then we could add this whole committee and this whole process of making paid parking harder to do so. And we just needed support. We need people to be there physically and vote in our favor. Ultimately, it got pushed later on down the road to next year, which we'll touch on later as well. But I think the biggest thing is that we were able to email people and keep in contact with them, saying, this is where you should show up. This is when you should show up. This is what you should say. This is how you can help us. And then we were able to email people and say, hey, it's not going to be on the meeting, or not going to be in the meeting this year, but please continue to support us, continue to share this petition, and really just having that supporter base. And like Aidan said, people we can point to. It's kind of hard to point to an Instagram video and say this many people agree. Like, while that's helpful, it's kind of hard because you can argue that those are fake comments or fake likes, but it's kind of hard to fake a petition signature, especially at that scale. And you can see how many people. You can see like they give you like geographical like radius of who signed it, and I think it's like 66% are within 10 miles or 20 miles of the Seacoast. So this is a very local issue, and it's local people that are signing it. It's not people from California who this doesn't affect ever. It's people from New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Maine who actively use our beaches as well.
When you guys have gone to these meetings since starting this movement, the video, the petition, what has the reaction in the room been?
Well, I mean, so the second meeting we went to was the most recent meeting we've attended, and that was after we started the petition. Before we made the videos, but our petition had, I don't know, close to 2,000. It was a couple. Okay. It was close to 1,000.
So you started the petition before you put the video out.
We started the petition before we got the video out. The video helped our petition a lot, but Aidan did great work at Portsmouth High. I mean, he was the one that was pushing it to 1,000 signatures in the first place. I think that was our original goal. If we can get 1,000 signatures, like this will be an amazing movement.
Wow.
So Aidan was going around the lunch tables and getting people to sign.
Take me into that. What were you doing?
I was just going up to tables and like. The boys, like they're always like, oh yeah, like we love going to the beach, and I'd go up to the girls' table. I'm like, you want to pay $15 for a tan? And they're like, no. And then they obviously signed it. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was a little harder because I go to Phillips Exeter, so a lot of kids there board. And it'd just be, it'd be harder to get people to sign the petition in the first place because they don't live around here, and B, it wouldn't be as helpful because it's people from all over, from different countries signing it. That's not really what we wanted. We wanted local people to sign it. So it really made an impact. So Aidan and a couple other kids, we reached out to kids at other local high schools as well, surfers that we knew, just trying to spread the word as much as possible to generate kind of local, especially the youth to sign it. We want kids to sign it first. So you could see the first 1,000 names and be like, I know those people. I know those families. Like I know that. So the selectmen would be scrolling through and like, wow, like I know that mom, I know that dad, like I know that kid. And these are people who I know and who are actively opposing the measure I'm proposing. That's what really kind of the movement that we wanted. And then after we got close to 1,000 signatures, then we pushed online, and then it blew up from there. And that kind of what's pushed us to the 10,000 we sit at now, which is, I mean, like I said, our original goal was 1,000. That's like an order of magnitude larger. And we were not expecting that for sure.
I want to talk to you about your Phillips Exeter experience.
For sure.
Later on as well. So is it fair to say like pretty universal support on this? Like you're not really having that many detractors, which is amazing because you can't get people to agree on anything these days.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, at first, when I like first started going around to the school, I had like a couple kids like, yo, you can't do that. Like you're just a kid. Like you don't have this power against like these selectmen. I'm like, well, I mean, we can do anything you put your mind to. I mean, I feel like right now we're in pretty good shape, just pushing it. And I feel that when people were saying that, I kind of put a fire in me, and I was like, I just want to prove them wrong.
Yeah. It's that athlete mentality in you. Yeah.
I'll say like we're both under 18 too. Aidan turns 18 relatively soon, but I got a little bit to go. And I think that's also one of our biggest drivers as well. We're not able to vote. We don't get a say on the ballot when this goes to vote. So our only chance and our last chance to make this count and kind of voice our concerns is to get other people who care about this. And if we get those kids, like we said, to sign the petition, then tell their parents, and those parents have voting powers, and those parents know people in Rye who have voting power. And ultimately it's up to the people of Rye to decide whether they want this or not. But I think our biggest concern is making sure people know the full impacts of what this measure is going to go to. I think the town of Rye and the selectmen in particular are really trying to push this through as quickly as possible, so people have kind of little time to think about it. And when you go to a ballot and you haven't heard anything about Rye parking, and you see, I want to generate money, I want to generate $1 million, and that lowers my taxes by a little bit, who wouldn't sign that, right? Like it's a no-brainer for somebody who hasn't heard about the impacts. But if we're out here making a scene on social media and we're giving personal anecdotes about how it will affect us and our friends and our families and people who are underprivileged as well, then when they go to sign that ballot and click that box, yes or no, I mean, they're gonna take a moment, they're gonna hesitate, and they're gonna think, is this really what I want? Do I need that extra $100 off my taxes to kind of give somebody the trouble of not being able to spend time at the beach that I love so much and spend so much time at the summer? And so I think that's the biggest thing. Ultimately, we're not able to vote. We don't have a final say on this measure, but if we're able to get other people who do have that voting power to think about it and really know fully what they're voting for and the full consequences of what they're voting for, that's our ultimate goal.
So as you said, the economic study that the town was going to conduct has been delayed to starting in March of 2027. Is that accurate? I think that's what I saw.
Yeah, I think that's when they vote on it again. So the study was done. There's a study that was conducted roughly 10 years ago by Ty & Bond. So that's an engineering company based out of Portsmouth. And that was a study to look at not really how much money they could generate on parking, but how parking was affecting local residents. So whether cars were too close to driveways or whether they need to repaint the lines or redo signage. And a lot of good information came from that. And they reduced some parking spaces, but for good reason. I mean, it improved safety along the beach. And that was a good study done. But I think that kind of set the ball rolling of that gave them an estimate of how many parking spots there truly were. And then if you could do quick back of the napkin math and you realize how much money you could start making, I think that study really got the ball rolling. And then they recently reached out. So when we went to the town hall for that second meeting that we were talking about, when we showed up with a lot more people, it was during that study actually that they approved this, or during that town hall meeting that they approved this second study with a different engineering firm, but they had been recommended by the old Ty & Bond company to this new firm called McClear. And they paid $59,000 for the study to McClear. And this was a vote only done by the Rye Select Board. So this wasn't on a ballot. Rye residents weren't able to vote on this. First off, we thought that was a little bit unfair. I mean, this is $59,000 of taxpayer money going to a pet project of the selectmen of how much money they can make on beach parking. And that's $59,000 directly out of, and I mean, the whole premise is that they're saving taxpayers money, and now we're spending taxpayer money for a thing we don't even know if it's going to pass or not. So we're objecting to that, and we weren't given the chance to speak. Like I said, the public comment is usually at the beginning of the meeting, but recently it's been moved to the back for a variety of reasons, but other town people have spoken out against that process as well. But we were only able to speak at the end. So this was after the study was approved. So this $59,000 study gets approved, and it seems like the town of Rye is going to put parking on the ballot for this year. And then we learn a week before the meeting that no, this is going to be pushed to next year. The parking study is taking too long. Which I think makes sense. I mean, this is an extensive parking study. I don't really see how they could. I mean, this would be like a month turnaround before they had to vote on it. So they pushed it back to next year. And I think it's going to be conducted over the summer, and they're going to use drone footage and whatever and aerial footage. But I think we kind of know what the study is going to say. It's going to say you can generate $1 million off of parking. So we kind of have our gripes with the study, but that's kind of the process of what went down. And then next year it'll be on the ballot again for the whole town to vote on.
Okay. So emotionally, how are you guys feeling with where things are at right now, Aidan?
Right now, I think it's just a waiting game. We need to just keep up our exposure on Instagram and all Facebook and all these pages, because we've been also posting on Facebook groups as well to hit kind of the older generations. So we just I think we're in decent shape right now, but we obviously just want to keep educating people and reminding people about this, so it gains more growth. And when March comes around, there's a certain feeling in Rye that we don't want paid parking.
It's going to be a little more difficult because, we're both going to college next year. A lot of the people that are involved in this process are going to college next year. And so I think the main reason they pushed it back is because of the study, but it does call into question of whether they were looking at our ages and be like, oh, wow, these kids are going to be in college next year. Like, is this going to be easier to pass next year? And I'm not going to call them out directly. I don't know what the full decision was behind pushing it back a year, but that's certainly something to consider as well. Because, I don't know if my break's going to line up and I'm going to be home. I don't yet know where I'm going to college, but I could be on the other side of the country for all I know when this is kind of being talked about next year. And there's certainly kids younger than us who are just as engaged in the process, and we can pass the torch on. But that just means, we have this survey or this petition, but how many people are going to be kind of looking out for an email in a year from now and ready to kind of re-engage in this fight? It really stalls our momentum. And I think our ultimate plan we're working on right now is trying to get the state involved. So ultimately, this is a state road. Route 1A is a state road. And the state has ultimate say on what the town can and can't do on the road. And if we can get the state on some level to say, no, you can't do this, or you have to do X, Y, Z to do this, and it becomes a lot harder for the town of Rye to implement paid parking, that'd be amazing because, like I said, we're not going to be here next year. And if we're able over the summer to kind of engage us at the state level, then perhaps this would be a lot harder for the town in the future. And we get more awareness on the state level as a whole as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes this even more noble that you two are doing this, is that this isn't even necessarily for you because, as you said, you guys might be on the other side of the country for college. This is really for so many of the other Rye residents, not a selfish endeavor.
And I'll say, it's not even for Rye residents mostly at all. Even we're both Rye residents. We get that paid parking sticker like I was talking about. We have to pay those $25. And what the Rye town selectmen were actually talking about was using that $1 million to maybe reduce or eliminate having to pay for one sticker per family. So I could get my $25 parking sticker for $15 or for free even. So it'd be cheaper for me to go to the beach over the summer. But that doesn't stop our fight. I think that's not what we're fighting for. We're fighting for equal access for people who don't live in Rye, for people who would have to pay that $15 every single day. And I think there are not a lot, because I'll say we didn't have a lot of negative comments, but if the few negative comments we did have on Instagram and other platforms is like, oh, high school kid wants free stuff. Like, I've seen this a million times before, but we are getting free stuff if this measure is passed, or we're getting discounted stuff. Like, this is going to positively affect us as Rye residents from a monetary standpoint. but not from an emotional standpoint. I think that's where we're really hitting. Like a lot of our friends don't live in Rye. A lot of friends live in Portsmouth or Exeter or surrounding towns, and they would have to pay that money. And then you call up your friend and say like, "Hey, I want to go to the beach," and they're like, "No, I don't have the money right now, or I can't pay." And all of a sudden, I mean, what's good? What's a discounted beach sticker good for if you don't have any friends to go to the beach with? Like that's what we're fighting for here. And so I think a lot of people don't fully understand that. And I think that's what we're trying to point out is that we stand to benefit if this is passed as Rye residents. But if we ever move in the future or anybody we know that doesn't live in Rye, like they are going to be directly affected by this.
Coming up, how detrimental it would be if these parking measures pass. Plus, a look into the Seacoast youth dating scene. That's next. But first, David Higgins is a Portsmouth legend. He just won Seacoast Skating with the Stars, in fact, and he is a man of the people, and he wants to help you out. When you sit down with David, he'll help you create a detailed wealth planning strategy that takes into account your current financial situation, goals, and risk tolerance. He looks at every aspect of your life, and he helps in setting realistic goals and creating a roadmap to achievement. He offers services like investment advice and investment management, tax planning, estate planning, retirement planning, risk management, charitable giving, and education planning. David's approach encompasses not only financial aspects, but he also takes into consideration a person's overall well-being and life goals because, that matters too. Now, I get what you think. You may think this sounds like every other financial advisor out there, but David is one of one. He spent more than 20 years in the business, and I've heard firsthand about his thorough, thoughtful, and holistic wealth management approach, which really sets him apart from the typical cookie-cutter model. To learn more about how David can help you, you can get in touch with him by contacting the email in the show notes. So in December, I told you about Sage Portsmouth, the condos located in the McKinnon's Plaza, where there's that Starbucks and Dough, a lot of great things in that plaza. In the 2 months since then, they've actually sold 10 new units. So whoever purchased those, welcome to Portsmouth. We're happy to have you. For those of you listeners who are on the hunt for your next dream home, Sage still has several opportunities available. They've got studios, 1 bed and 2 bedrooms complete with very thoughtful design, modern finishes, and about everything else you could ask for in a living space. There's a number of enclosed offices in the lobby where you can work from home. There's a fitness center complete with everything you can need for sneaking in a midday workout in between sales calls, or in my case, editing endless hours of podcast and social media content. Plus, they've got loads of parking, community spaces like the game room, and my personal favorite, very easy walking access to some of Portsmouth's best places to hang out at, like Pins. It's just a short drive to downtown Portsmouth as well. The beach, my go-to coffee shop, La Molita, and just about everything else the Seacoast has to offer. If you want to see for yourself what the hype is all about, then I do suggest you visit sageportsmouth.com to book a showing with the great crew of Janice, Tommy, Lauren, the entire crew they have over at Sage Portsmouth. How detrimental would this be if it ultimately does end up where people have to pay for parking?
It'd be truly devastating. I'd really not be happy with it because I feel like I wouldn't see my friends. Because even a week ago, I was at the gym and some guy came up to me. He's like, "Oh, I saw you on, whatever online. You're fighting the good fight." And I'm like, "Yeah, thank you, bro." And he was saying, "Yeah, I go to the beach like 4 times a week. That's like $50, $60 a week. I can't afford that. Me and my girlfriend just moved to Portsmouth. I can't afford that. So like, please keep what you're doing." And then like, I don't know. I just feel like if people have to pay, maybe I won't see my friends. Maybe they won't enjoy the beach the same way. Cause when I go to surf in Hampton, cause sometimes I like going there, when I pay the meter, like whenever I'm surfing, I can't really enjoy it. Cause in the back of my mind's like, I don't want to take it. I don't want to take it. I have to go pay the meter. So like, I don't know. I just feel that it wouldn't be detrimental.
Yeah, I'm on the same vein as Aidan. I mean, my mom has told me multiple stories about people coming up to her. She was coming home from, I think it was Costa Rica. She was on like a girls' surf trip with her friends. And she was coming home on the bus and they struck up a conversation with a stranger next to him. And he was they told him and they were from Rye, and the guy was like, oh, like, have you heard about this, like this parking thing? Like this kid that's been fighting it. And my mom was like, haha, like funny you brought that up. Like, what do I have a story to tell you? Like, that's my son. But I think just like random people like that, random people on a bus home from Boston Logan Airport who've heard about this story. I mean, there's one girl at Exeter I'm in a club with, and she texted me and said, yeah, I was on like a bus home from Boston in a similar vein. Like I struck up a conversation with a stranger, and they said, yeah, I saw this like Exonian that was fighting for free parking. Like, do you know him? And she's like, yeah, like I'm in a club with him. And just that level of that amount of people that we don't know, we would never meet in our entire life, that not only know who we are, but know what we're fighting for and are supporting our fight. Like that truly is what's keeping us going and what's rewarding. And I think on this vein of how detrimental it would be, I think it'd be very detrimental. All those strangers we were talking about, all these strangers that have yet to come up to us, that we have yet to meet, but still know about our measure and are affected by it. These are people who are visiting the beach, like Aidan said, 3-4 times a week, walking their dog or even just going for a walk for themselves. And a lot of people use the beach as a way to detox and help their mental health. I talked about surfing as well, but I think that applies to a lot of people just walking in nature, and have to pay now for that. And then especially if you come from maybe a town where local parks aren't as well upkept, and the town of Rye has a nice beach, and you want to go to the beach and enjoy that nature, and then you're kind of forced to take a walk on the streets of Portsmouth, and maybe that's not really what you were looking for.
Right.
That's going to be detrimental to, I think, a lot of people's mental health and a lot of the overall enjoyment of the beach on the Seacoast as well.
How so? How would it be detrimental to your mental health?
I mean, there's a lot of studies about how nature helps you. And I think Aidan has talked about this as well, about screen time, right? Like a lot of kids our age and even adults are spending more and more time on their phones for a variety of reasons, but also because nature is becoming less accessible to them. I mean, urban cities are popping up everywhere. Parks are diminishing. And now people are looking to charge for nature, for the beach. And I think the biggest thing we're concerned about, one of the biggest things, is this sets a precedent, right? This gets the ball rolling. We start with beach parking, and then, okay, sure, you're charging $15 a day for the beach, but then there's a stream, then there's a lake, then it's every single park and what if like
every mountain you want to hike.
What if Prescott Park in Portsmouth, now you had to pay like every time you wanted to enter it and enjoy nature. And I think looking at nature as a way to generate money and as a pay to play model is really dangerous. And this sets the ball rolling in the wrong direction. This is our chance to not only stop the momentum, but hopefully like even reverse it too. If we can say, hey, like look what we did, we can point to other people, and hopefully, I mean, our biggest goal would be other youth in towns we don't even know who are experiencing a similar problem, being inspired by our movement, and then fighting against their town for trying to charge for lake access or mountain access. And then now it's a mutual. If I wanted to go to their town and enjoy their lake that they can enjoy for free, now I won't have to pay anymore. Now I won't have to pay in the future. And I think if we can kind of get the entire Seacoast as kind of idealistic as it sounds, if we can get all the Seacoast youth and everywhere to kind of re-examine what nature means to them and how much money they're willing to shell out for it. I think if people are willing to do that and willing to stand up and fight, that'd be amazing. And I think it'd promote nature access and kind of health of Seacoast as a whole.
Yeah. You shouldn't have to pay for access to nature. Exactly. I lived in Hawaii, which, sorry, Seacoast, the beaches in Hawaii are better than here.
Yeah,
and I didn't have to pay for them. Which, like, it's a ridiculous concept. I brought this up to some locals and they were offended by that very concept. What, you have to pay for parking in New England? That's absurd.
I mean, nature is fundamentally free. And I think there's certain aspects, if it's a very well maintained. I think there's a lot of the mountain trails, the AMC Mountain Club in New Hampshire, they accept donations as well, but it's never you have to like pay
right.
to enjoy them. It's donation based, and they maintain the huts and whatnot and the trails. But like I said, the town of Rye, they do spend money on the beach, but they make a lot of money as well already. And all they're really doing is enforcing and then also cleaning the beach a little bit as well. But I think one of the things we brought up at one of the town meetings as well was that a lot of people from out of town are contributing to our beaches. A lot of beach cleanups are from people who aren't even from Rye. It's Surf Riders, a local foundation based in Portsmouth. Well, it's based all across the United States, but the local chapter is based in Portsmouth. Though they hold beach cleanups, I think like once a month, beach water testing once a month as well. And those are people who aren't even from Rye, who are parking along that free parking right now and cleaning our beaches and testing our waters. And to charge for that would be kind of an absurd concept. And I think that's something we have to examine as well.
Back to the subject of mental health. This is something I spend a lot of time thinking about: the youth, mental health, screen time. As someone who works in media, I'm cognizant of screen time as well. And I've read various articles or listened to various podcasts about how the youth is, they get labeled as you guys are just addicted to your screens. You're on your screens all day, video games, scrolling TikTok, and that you're losing brain cells doing all these things. But what I've also heard is that the youth, you guys have grown up in this. You really don't know any other different lifestyle. Is that you're kind of tired of it and you want to put the phone away and you don't want to be consuming all this stuff. Where do you guys stand on your relationships to your phones and to screen time?
For my phone, I feel like I obviously have social media like TikTok and Instagram. I go on that, I'd say maybe an hour today. It kind of helps me, like relax, and after a long day, maybe at school, just to get a couple like videos in to make me laugh. But after like an hour, I don't think it makes me feel good. I feel a little like, what am I doing? And I really want to get outside and do something else or go work out. So I feel like obviously I use it for communication and maybe decompress a little bit. But at some points, I feel like it's a lot.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked this question because it's something my friend group at Exeter as well has been grappling a lot with. We feel like we spend a lot of times on our phones, and it's hard to be productive when your phone is just in sight, and it's hard to do good work. And I think of all the times, like maybe I could have got a better grade on a test, or maybe I could have done more for a service project or a club if I had just kind of put the phone down and focused for a little bit more. And we actually were talking about this, and we might go through with it, is we might get flip phones for our senior spring term.
This is a common trend.
Yeah. So it's like, as difficult as it would be, I think the hardest thing for me to put down would be Snapchat. That's just more so just a form of communication than anything. I think a lot of kids use it over text messages these days. But I'm willing to give up social media and Instagram and TikTok because at the end of the day, like I re-examine like, what did I gain from my 1 hour scroll sesh? Like maybe like a couple laughs, but like I'd rather spend real time with friends that I remember. And then I think one of the things we've been doing recently with my friends is like, tell me like the last 20 videos you watched on TikTok. Like, can you name any of them? And like, if you can't, like, what are you doing? Like, at least watch a YouTube video or something that you can remember and take away from. And I think that progression to long form content and then no content in general is something I personally want to engage in and something I'd like to see a lot of other people engage in. And I think that's really, really relevant to what we're talking about today. And I'm glad you brought it up. But yeah, I think having that ability to put that phone down, and not only the ability to put the phone down, but have alternatives outside of that phone to enjoy the beach for one, is super important to kind of re-examining how kids these days are engaging with their screens.
Quick aside on Snapchat. I haven't been on Snapchat in like 3 years because I don't know, I just didn't like it anymore. But I am still blown away by how popular it is with your generation. What do you guys love about Snapchat so much?
You can meet new people and talk to your buddies. Send videos to your buddies. And it's basically like text, but on the platform, you can like easily just, instead of texting, it's kind of just photos back and forth.
Right.
But
meet new people. How do you meet new people on Snapchat? Group
chats. You can add people on Snapchat.
Yeah. I think like, a lot of people gripe about Snapchat, like, oh, it's just like sending photos back and forth. Like that's so dumb. That's so stupid. But I think, for me, I like it a lot because it's quick, it's easy. You have all your contacts listed. You can search them up. At least for school, it's actually pretty helpful because if there's somebody I had a group project with and I'm not able to get their number, or I didn't have the chance to get their number, or maybe they were sick that day and I don't have their number, you can actually just look them up on Snapchat. And as long as you have enough mutual friends, they'll usually pop right up, and then you could add them, and then you could text them from the platform instead of having to find which friend has their number and go through this whole process. So for group projects, it actually can be pretty helpful. And then in general, I think it's nice to be able to like send videos, and the videos aren't like taking up storage on your phone. It's videos, unless somebody like saves them. You could send a quick video update to your friend, and then that kind of goes into Snapchat's cloud server and stays on your phone for like a day, but then it kind of goes away. And that's nice to be able to send those updates without having to like delete all these like videos on your phone and all these photos on your phone, which is a nice form of content. But I think at some point it does become like, I want to shift towards text. Text feels like a little bit more of a real human way of connecting as well. And I think I've talked to a lot of kids from Exeter who are now in college, and they say like, yeah, and most people in college, as you get older, are progressively shifting more towards messages and not using Snapchat as much. And I think it's very, very useful and helpful for kind of kids our age. But I think there is a general kind of progression out of it as you grow up as well.
Another thing I'm dying to know about, this is also aside, what's the Seacoast youth dating scene like? Whoever wants to take that one, go ahead.
The dating scene, as in like,
how are you meeting people? Is it online? Is it in person? What do you guys do when you're going on dates around here?
You want to share your ideal date?
Please.
My ideal date. I don't know. This is gonna sound like kind of like I'm just trying to squeeze the beach in here, but I would love to go to some local restaurant, and ideally not too expensive. I don't want to go to.
You don't want to go to Carriage House?
No, I don't. Yeah, unless I'm in a long, unless it's like Valentine's Day and I'm in a long-term relationship, that's kind of not where I want to go. But yeah, somewhere cheap. I mean, I'm not talking like McDonald's, but like a restaurant, sit down restaurant that's not too expensive, and then you get food, and then you go to the beach, and if it's at night, you kind of just maybe take a walk on the beach. I'm thinking it's summer right now, and you look up at the stars, and or you're kind of like spending time at the beach in the surf and the ocean, and that's kind of communal gatherings. Well, and that applies to a lot of nature as well. But I think just in terms of, I mean, the dating scene, I guess, I mean, like Aidan said, like you meet a lot of people on Snapchat as well. Like if there's a girl you think is pretty and you add her on Snapchat, and then you start texting her, and then you ask her on a date, like that's kind of a cool way to use social media, because you're using it to engage with somebody in person. You're not just engaging with this person online.
Right.
So I think that's pretty cool as well. And I'll say, like, for me, it's probably a little different because I kind of have two different groups of people I know. I have people from Portsmouth, people I grew up with in Rye, and then I have people from Exeter as well who are from all over the world. And so I know a lot of people, which I guess you could argue opens my dating pool a lot. I don't know how well that's worked for me so far. But yeah, I think it's cool to meet a lot of different people. And I think just in general, I don't think it's much different than many other places. I think perhaps it's a little less urban, so it's harder to go find a restaurant. It's not like a place unless you're going downtown Portsmouth, it's not really like you can walk around like going shopping or going to restaurants. But I think, yeah, like Portsmouth is a big place to go. And then, I mean, you can make the trek down to Hampton or Seabrook Mall when it was open before it's in the process of getting demolished.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't think it's too far removed from other places. And I like it. No bad experiences so far.
To be honest, when you're going up to the town meetings, you should have just led with, listen, you're going to kill my ideal dream date if I have to pay for parking.
Yeah, exactly. I should have brought like a bunch of girls as well. They could voice their concerns as well. Yeah.
Have you been on this dream date yet?
Yeah.
We need to make this happen.
Maybe like elements of it. Maybe not all like in one continuous. I've been to the beach or I've been to like a restaurant, but I don't know if I've done like both in one day.
Okay. We're making this happen.
Yeah.
High school students of the Seacoast.
Yeah.
Lorax wants to take you.
Yeah. I'll put my number in at the end.
Okay. Perfect.
But yeah, I think, I mean, while we're on this vein of girls, I think that's something I think me and Aidan talked about as well, that we wish we got more girls involved. I think this movement was a lot predominantly. Most of the guys we surf with are guys. They're people we know and guys we're friends with. But I think people from all over are just as affected by this as we are, and women included. And we wish we got a little more women representation. It's not too late. We can certainly get them involved when we take this eventually, maybe to the state level or next year when it comes back around. But yeah, I think we wish we're fighting for everybody, but we wish we got more voices of that everybody that we're talking about to really speak up, and that would have made our movement even more powerful.
Mm-hmm. Aidan, you're just a couple months away from graduating from Portsmouth High School. How's your experience there been?
It's been great. I met a lot of new people. Obviously I played soccer my first 2 years at Portsmouth for the high school team. I made a lot of my friends that I have, we're really good friends now. And then I decided to take the route and play club soccer. So that was definitely different. I didn't like have that bond and meet new people, but I love Portsmouth and the people there are great. And I've met so many awesome people.
You want to play soccer in college?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the plan?
I'm playing soccer at Skidmore College.
Oh, nice. In Saratoga.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from there. So that's
no
sick.
way.
Yeah, Skidmore's amazing. Oh my God, what an amazing school. You'll love it.
Thanks.
Yeah. You visited?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Downtown Saratoga. When I first came to Portsmouth, I was like, oh, this is Saratoga on the water.
Yeah.
Very historic. A lot of the same shops. Like we have whatever that ice cream store is, Kilwins. There's a Kilwins in Saratoga. Yeah, you'll love it.
When I was looking at there, I was like, I really like downtown Portsmouth. I'm not like a big city guy. And I went to Saratoga. I'm like, oh my God, this feels like Portsmouth. I love this. And it was a no-brainer.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to be a Skidmore soccer fan now because of you. This is great. Lorax, what about you? What are you thinking? What's the next step?
It's a great question. So I'm not into college yet. I've been to a couple of colleges, but big state schools. I'm shooting high. I mean, my ultimate goal is to go to an Ivy League, as difficult as they may sound. And then if not, I think I like Tufts University a lot and Middlebury as well, both those schools. Tufts I like a lot just because of its location. I think being outside Boston without being inside Boston is really nice. I have a friend that goes to Portsmouth, a mutual friend of me and Aidan's, who's going there, which would be super cool. And then a couple of kids from Exeter are also going there already. There's probably more to come as regular decisions get released. I actually finished the process of doing ROTC. So I got an Army ROTC scholarship you get the scholarship to your school before you get in. So I got to Harvard and Yale. But I have to get into those schools first. Probably unlikely. I'm holding my hopes out March 26th at 7 p.m. That's when all the Ivy Leagues come out, counting down the days. But yeah, I'm really optimistic about the college process, and I know wherever I'll go, Exeter has equipped me with the skills I need to excel kind of wherever I end up, whether that be UNH or Harvard. And I'm super excited for the next chapters of my life. And I think a lot of my schools are on the East Coast, couple in California, and then like a couple out west. I love to ski, so like Utah and Colorado were some places I was looking at. But I think I'll probably stay around the Seacoast for a little bit longer, at least the next 4 years.
Okay. The world is your oyster.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see what happens on March 26th.
Yeah, I'm nervous, but I'm excited as well.
I'm sure you are. I know it's a very stressful time, but you guys will be great. Then just backtracking a little bit, Phillips Exeter, a different experience than Portsmouth High School, big melting pot. What is going to school there like?
Yeah, I mean, when I first got to Exeter, I've talked about this a lot with other people, but I didn't really like it. I was a day student, so I don't board there. I live at my house and I commute. I mean, you're from Rye, you're not even allowed to board there. You're too close or whatever. It just wouldn't make economic sense. But I commute there, so like 15 minutes every day. It's not bad. But I wasn't really able to generate the community as quickly as people who lived on campus. They were living with them 24/7, and these are people they're engaging with. You have people in the dorm. Meanwhile, I'm coming to campus at 8 or 9, and then leaving pretty quickly after school at 4, and I'm kind of missing out on socializing opportunities. And that was one of my biggest mistakes. Like I wasn't really putting myself out there, and so. I was actually really pushed into climbing and surfing during those periods because I was looking for something to do, which was really cool. But I also wish I was kind of engaging with my classmates a little more. And then kind of my junior year is when I started really getting out there, and I joined some new sports teams. I tried football for the first time, and I met a lot of new people, and now I really enjoy it. I love Exeter. I stay there. I mean, if I wasn't doing this podcast right now, I'd probably be at Exeter at the gym or in the library doing homework with friends. So I'm there like, I don't know, probably close to 12 hours a day. So I probably spend more time at Exeter than I do at home. I just come home to sleep. But yeah, I love Exeter a lot, and it's a super cool community and people from all over, and people who are really driven as well, and a lot of diverse perspectives. I mean, I don't know how much you know about like the Harkness method or the way they teach.
No idea what that is.
But it's basically like, at least for like English classes or humanities classes, you like engage or you read like a book, or you have a required reading or a text for that night. And then it's a circular table. They're all circular tables. There's no like square tables at Exeter or rectangular tables. And you engage around the table. So there's no like raising your hands or anything. It's just a conversation with your peers. And so everybody jumps in one after the other. And I think that form of content is even similar to what we're doing right now. I think that's super helpful for kind of generating my public speaking voice, but also just making myself well articulated in general.
Very cool.
Yeah.
The future is bright with you two leading the charge. This Rye Beach parking saga, Aidan, how do you think it ends?
It ends in victory, triumph, celebrations. Me and Lorax celebrating.
Yeah.
Me and Lorax and all of our mentors who have helped us along the way, all celebrating. I feel like we can push us out more.
Yeah, and I think, like we said, ultimately we're trying to get the state involved. That'd be huge, not only for getting the word out, but like I said, if the state gets involved with this, the state could get involved with other stuff, right? Like if there's another piece of nature that's being monetized by another town, and then people can point to our fight as precedent for the state getting involved with that, and then the state gets involved with that fight. Because I mean, the way the government is structured, the state has ultimate say, like the U.S. government, federal government has ultimate say over what the state does. The state has ultimate say over what individual towns and municipalities do. And so I think if we can get that state involved and kind of set a precedent for future people and get the ball rolling and have that kind of proverbial like uprising of Seacoast youth, as I was talking about, who fight against paid parking and keep nature access free for generations to come. I think that's where the ultimate goal is. We'll see how far we get, but I'm willing to see this through to the end, and I'm willing to continue to be part of this. As difficult as it may be in college, I'll certainly continue to contribute and make sure to pass on the torch as well to people who are equally interested and a little bit younger than us.
How confident, Lorax, are you that you will be victorious?
I think I'm way more confident than when I first began. When we first began, I mean, we were two 17-year-olds and going up against an entire town. And I mean, when you look at that, it's like, yeah, what can I do? Like, is this really worth my time and effort? And am I doing this fight for myself or for others? And I think ultimately the amount of support we got was truly overwhelming in the best of ways. And I think that just really shows how much power a voice can carry, two youth voices, and everybody else who helped us along the way. But I think that really gave me a lot of high hopes. And I'm really glad that we went through this process and now we have the experience. I know if there's ever an issue similar to this in the future, I'll know not to hesitate and jump right in head first, because no matter how old you are, where you are in life or who you are, you can always make a change just with your voice. Like I said, we don't have any voting power. This is all coming from our voice, coming from social media, coming from our attendance in town meetings. And so we did this, and that's super cool to look back and look at this movement and look at these 10,000 signatures and say like, yeah, that's us. Yeah. And I think as extravagant as my views of the future may seem, I don't think it's entirely impossible, especially looking at how far we've come from where we started.
That's Lorax Reed and Aidan Chin, two seniors in high school and two future leaders of America. If you have not signed their petition yet, but would like to, please visit the hyperlink in the show notes. As for us, Seacoast Stories Dinner Club is headed to Dover on Wednesday, March 4th, and spots are filling up fast. We've currently sold 80 seats, and we'd love for you to join the party. When you join the dinner club, you are supporting local restaurants, this podcast, and joining a vibrant community of Seacoast residents who want to meet people just like you. To book your seat, visit the link in the show notes. Thank you, Lorax and Aidan, for joining. Thanks to all of you for listening. And thanks to David Higgins, Budget Blinds, and Sage Portsmouth for supporting today's episode. I'll be back Monday to kick off our second annual celebration of International Women's Month, where we'll feature an all-female lineup of badass guests who make the Seacoast a special place to call home. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Until then, live free or die.